Greetings, class. I have a classroom of none today, and that is because my one student that I was going to have has to finish some of the jobs we have lined up. The cold weather is coming on quick here, and people are anxious to get it done, and we're anxious to get paid. So it's been crazy these past few weeks, and so I'm teaching by myself, and I just hope this is acceptable. I am doing a Bible study that we're doing in our Sunday school class, and it's out of the book Searching for Answers, Exploring Difficult Questions About Faith in the Bible. And I chose to do Why Don't We See More Miraculous Signs in the Church Today? This is a study that we haven't covered yet in our book. We're almost there, but haven't quite got there yet, so I thought this would be a good one to cover. Now, I have the viewpoint of there are lots of miracles going on around us that, you know, if you don't see the miracles going on around us, your eyes are shut. I mean, you're just totally shut down because they're all over. But let me start off going by the book here. It says, the worldview of the Bible and the contemporary world is very different, but nowhere is that more evident than signs and miracles. One of the most interesting miracles is recorded in Joshua 10. On that day when the Lord gave the Amorites over to the Israelites, Joshua spoke to the Lord, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Aijalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation took vengeance on their enemies. And the Bible is just saturated with miracles all over it. I mean, and it lists some in here. When Elijah went to the destitute widow of Zarephath to feed him, and she not only fed him a handful of meal in a jar and a little oil, she only had a handful of meal in a jar and a little oil and objects to the request. Elijah promises the jar of meal will not be emptied and the jug of oil will not fail until the day that the Lord sends rain on the earth. And that's in 1 Kings 17:14. And another miracle follows when Elijah revives the widow's son. And that's in 1 Kings 17 through 23. And her response was, Now I know that you are a man of God, and the word of the Lord in your mouth is truth. And then it goes on to list several miracles that happen in the New Testament. And of course the greatest one is the resurrection. Why don't we see more miracles these days? Or why do we see few miracles these days? It says, perhaps we could begin to answer this question by looking at one of the most important philosophers of the 18th century, David Hume. He was a Scottish philosopher who attempted to build a philosophy on the basis of experience alone. In fact, Hume felt that nothing should be accounted as knowledge unless it came from experience. He was fiercely anti-religion and atheistic. That seems to be very prevalent these days as well. His most important philosophical work is the inquiry concerning human understanding. He rejected miracles on the basis of the lack of evidence that it was true. And this quotes something he wrote, a miracle is a violation of the laws of nature, and as a firm and unalterable experience has established these laws, the proof against a miracle from the very nature of the fact is as entire as any argument from experience can possibly be imagined. And it talks about the modern period as more prone to skepticism regarding miracles, whether it is on the basis of lack of evidence or a violation of experience. Hume goes on to spell out why it is unwise to believe in miracles. No miracles are attested to by a sufficient number of people. Miracles, when measured against past occurrences, seem unbelievable. Miracles are more likely to be believed by the ignorant. Further consideration leads to the conclusion that miracles destroy themselves. It says, although he may make convincing argument for some, the plain fact is that if one believes in God, the possibility of miracles exists. If one does not believe in God, the reality of miracles is questionable. Another area where some question regarding miracles exists is in the meaning of the natural world. If the world operates on the basis of unalterable laws, then exceptions to those laws will not be likely. Of course, unless we claim that we know every aspect of natural law, it is possible that a miracle could be explained on the basis of the unknown. In other words, a miracle is not a violation of nature, but a reflection of our incomplete understanding of nature. I will say that back years ago, before I accepted Christ, I didn't see what I saw, what I see now. I saw things that were, unexplainable, that now I would see and know that was a miracle. I know of a lady who was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer, and just given months to live, and God healed her. And I know that firsthand, and many miracles since we've moved here have occurred. When my husband and I felt that it was time for us to move down here, we quit our jobs, moved down here to Tennessee, to no jobs or no job prospects, to a land that was barren, undeveloped. It had been clear-cutted. That was the only thing that happened years ago, but there was no utilities or anything like that. And we took what savings we had, that wasn't much, and had water and electric ran and put in so we could put our camper here so we could build. One of the things that happened was we was getting short on cash really quick, just from the expenses of the excavation and things like that. It should have cost, and normally cost, about $1,200 to run the electric out here, and that's what they quoted us. And we were sweating bullets, but we knew that the Lord would provide. We just knew that. And then our contractor called us one day and said, well, that $1,200 just turned to $50. And needless to say, we rejoiced. I mean, we were praising the Lord. And there was times when, despite, my husband got a job, a construction job, and it was very, very low pay, which is most of the jobs around here. And so money was tight, bills still come due, and we still have to eat somehow. And there were times we didn't know where the next meal was going to come from, and the Lord provided that as well. There was a neighbor that came with a big box, huge box full of food. And they even included things such as laundry soap, and these people are very poor, very, very poor. But they saw a need, and they delivered. And I just pray that I'll be the same way, that I'll be able to give back to what the Lord's given to me, because He, just so many things. I could go on and on. We could be on here for hours, just explaining to you what the Lord has done since we've been here. Not counting before, but just since we've been here in about a year and a half. So God is faithful. This study also quotes Immanuel Kant, a late 18th century philosopher, wrote a book titled Religion Within the Limits of Reason Alone, that offers a revealing understanding of religion. Kant allows for religion as miraculous, but he prefers a religion that expresses itself primarily in morality and reason. The unsophisticated faith of the masses that look for signs and wonders can be tolerated, but it is decidedly deficient. The sort of religion recommended by Kant does not Kant does not need the miraculous to be effective. Ultimately, it is not miracles that secure the meaning of religion, but morality born of rational reflection. One more explanation for the lack of miracles is our fear of signs and wonders themselves. Some religious traditions seem to be more comfortable with miracles and in fact depend upon them. Many times emotion is tied up with such expressions of religion. This makes us uncomfortable because admitting to miracles might destroy our perspective on religion and faith. And of course, it wants you to reflect on, have you experienced miracles in the past, and what difference did it make for your understanding of God? And I kind of, just a few minutes ago, I explained all the miracles that we've experienced just since we've been here, and our faith has grown and our relationship with God has grown because of that. I mean, he's been faithful, and my husband is an ex-atheist. Before he came to know Christ, he was a devout atheist, if you want to call it that. He just didn't think God existed. He had a rough life that helped contribute to that, I'm sure. And he raised both his kids to be the same way, and they're both atheist. So the miracles that we have experienced have made a huge difference in our walk with Christ. And before we came here, of course, I've been a believer since 1997, but to understand God at this depth and to see tangible things that He's provided, things that wouldn't normally happen, that wouldn't I would normally see have happened, and that's really made a difference with us. The discussion of miracles raises several important questions for people of faith. First, does education diminish the capacity to see miracles? It is possible to conclude with Kant and others that miracles are to be associated with the uneducated or ignorant person. I'm wondering if that's the other way around, because I don't think that's true. We are known best by our compassion and our service to one another, and not by miracles for a few. Such a formulation forces a false choice between faith and learning. Even reasonable and educated people can see the importance of miracles. The chief reason for this comes down to the capacity of educated people to sense the limits of reason and the power of mystery. It also requires that we understand that no matter how much we know, there is far more yet to be known. Second, can a scientist or medical doctor believe in miracles? The simple answer is yes. Anyone who spends life attempting to understand the world and or treat people will immediately understand that much cannot be explained. Perhaps all of us know a scientist or medical doctor who is a person of deep faith, and I know some. This fact does not make them any less of a scientist or medical doctor. In fact, the tremendous responsibility of investigating nature or treating people is made lighter by the recognition that somehow God goes deeper than our mind can go. And, I think about medical doctors that have the capacity to see miracles, if they would open their spiritual eyes, to see miracles happen almost on a daily basis. When an unexplainable recovery happens, I don't know how that they can't see God. And the same goes true, I think, of the astronaut, and I can't think of his name, famous astronaut. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, was it? I think it was the guy that first went on the moon, and I'm under pressure with the camera, so now I can't think of his name. But anyway, these guys see the Earth from a different perspective. And to see the universe, the moon, to see things in that perspective, I don't know how they can't see God. I don't understand it. I look out here, I sit out here, and we talk about it in class quite a bit about nature and how, it can draw us in, sensing God and to be in awe of His creation and draw us into worship. And I sit out here at night and see the stars, and it just seems out here there's no light pollution, and it's just so quiet out here in this little area we're at, and it looks like you could just reach up and touch the stars and just grab one and just admire it. But to see it all together, it just draws me to worship, and I'm just so thankful that God created all this beauty for us. Sorry folks, my camera shut down after, I don't know why it does that, but it did. So anyway, we were talking about seeing God's beauty through nature, and sensing God through nature, and I was talking about sitting outside here in the evening and looking at the stars, and I gotta remember where I was going with it though. I got distracted with the camera, sorry. Okay, and it goes on. Third, is it possible that we miss many miracles because we think they can be explained? The human mind is wonderful in its ability to grasp reality. When a miracle happens, we may ask ourselves questions such as, how did that happen? Or how can I make sense of this event? When a person goes into remission, we can explain it by the fact that chemotherapy worked. Can we explain it? If a person survives an auto accident, is it because a seatbelt was worn? If a church grows, is it because a new and personable pastor arrived? In other words, we learn to prepare and organize details so that we can explain a particular result. Maybe we miss miracles because we do not reflect first on the way God works in the world. We do not think that somehow God was involved in our action. Since God is not changed from the world of the Bible, it should be clear that miracles still happen in our time. The issue we must address is how faith and reason can be held together in the Christian life. Therefore, we can be assured that miracles will always happen in the kingdom as we enter. Therefore, we can be assured that miracles will always happen in the kingdom we enter as children again. I hope you enjoyed this little mini study here. I apologize it wasn't very long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next class. God bless you.